Hello there, and welcome to Power Up with Power Coach Alishia. I'm Power Coach Alishia, your source of fun, funny, exciting, entertaining, educational, and transformational speaking and life coaching with a twist of tough mama bear. No fluff, no hand-holding, no bullshit love. I specialize in helping women step into their personal power, unleash their inner badass, and put themselves first without feeling guilty, unapologetically authentic. And today, we're talking about perfection and how you show up. All right. I am losing my voice, so we'll see how this goes. Everything's running slow today. And it's snowing here in Utah. Yay. Because spring's here, supposedly. I don't know that to be true. I don't know that spring is actually here. If you're watching this on replay, please go ahead and drop hashtag replay down in the comments so that I know you're here on replay. And I will be sure to respond to like any questions or anything like that you have, or your number one takeaway. I always like to engage with replay viewers. Hi, Marcy. Hello, Marcy. Almost there. I always find that Facebook pages load so slow, and I don't know why. It's annoying. I don't remember what time I had my Thrive. This is going to be an interesting day. I think I can feel that for sure. Hi, Jenny. So as you guys are getting on here, make sure you say hi to me in the comments. We are talking about perfection in how you show up. I have one more place to share, and then I'm sending the message, and then we're rocking and rolling to the best of our ability. Morgan's here, Celia's here. Gosh, I'm going to have to drink tea all day. I don't think I'm going to have a voice by the end of the day. All right, message is sent. Hi, Celia. Yay, Celia said hi. Lucy and Tracy and Cray and Linda. Hello, everybody. Amy Rogers is here. Okay, so I got another idea for Power Up with Power Coach Alishia from somebody who posted in the Unapologetically You Facebook group. And it must have been on the same thread. I was really motivated this day to talk about these topics. I really want to be good about pulling topics that I feel are good for conversation from the Facebook group. I've only pulled two, and they're the two yesterday and today. So I want to pull some more through because I think they're great topics. Different things that are said really are important for me to broaden on and just share with you, because maybe you're thinking the same things, or maybe you have the same thought process, right? Or maybe you're going through the same challenges. So I'm excited. This says, in one of your earlier posts, you talked about words we use that we should drop from our vocabulary, and fine was one of them. I dropped fine, but find that I am still living that word. I want everything to be perfect before I share it or do something. And my life is always super hectic. Things were starting to slow down and I was getting focused, and then the COVID-19 entered my life. As a healthcare provider, it has taken over all I am right now. I have to get out of my own way to be successful. As of now, I will try, and I will be doing my best. So the one line in here, because I read this over and over and over again, I was like, why did I want to talk about this? And it's because of the line, I want everything to be perfect before I share it or do something. That one line was the reason why I wanted to talk about it. And when I read it, I was like, why would I want to share this? But that was it. Because I feel that there's so much truth to that in all that we're doing, right? And not just now. You know what I mean? It's not just at this time. It's, whether we're building a business or we're, rearing children or, being a wife or just doing our best to show the fuck up for ourselves, right? Hi, Estrees. Hi, Mary. Hi, Latia. All of these things, I feel there are a lot of you doing your best to be perfect in each of the areas, right? So even though she was talking about business specifically in that line, I know how much it applies to all the other areas of life, right? Because, you know, as a mom, you're always doing your best to not fuck up your kids, you know, and instill like good values in them and make sure that, like for me specifically, I'm doing my best to raise good men, because bad boys ruined good men for me. Meaning, like, bad teenage boys and the way they acted and the way they treated girls or me, right? So they taught me all, you know, growing up that, you know, guys are assholes, they're cheaters, you know, all of these sorts of things. And so I want to teach my boys how to be good boys so they grow up into be good men. And, you know, I probably am not the best at that, like how I convey what I expect and the way that they must treat women. Like, there's no options here. There's no leeway here for me, right? So when I'm talking to my boys about being good men, you know, my older one, I'm like, there's no I fucking Rico Suave cute hot guy, so I'm gonna run around being a fucking player and treating girls like shit. Yeah, I have 5 brothers. I'm gonna run around being a player treating girls like shit. I was like, that ain't gonna fly. So I don't care when you decide that you're gonna start having girlfriends. If you don't want to be with one girl, you're gonna have balls enough to break up with her and face her before moving on, or I'm gonna fucking kill you. It's as simple as that. So that's how I instill that into my boys, right? Or because I've always been, I'm 30, almost 36 years old, and so when I was growing up, being curvy was not a normal thing, right? Most everybody was skinny. The obese epidemic was nothing like it is today. Now the average size is creeping up over 14, 15, right? And when I was younger, it's not that I was fat, but I was the biggest person, I felt like, or bigger of the majority of the other girls. I always ranked in the bigger, you know, version. And so when I hit junior high and high school, that was the thing, right? I wasn't the skinny fucking cute girl. I was the curvier girl. Fit, might I add, because I played the drums and was in the marching band and all the other things, but it didn't really matter, right? And so that was a reason I felt a lot of the time that guys didn't like me. So with my boys, I have this like very particular way that they must treat women, right? Hi, Tessa. And I've often thought to myself, holy fuck, Alishia, like, you are so bullish about this. You are so like, like, what if you send them the other way? And I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna push, because I've always talked about when they get older, I'm like, literally, we'll get through it, but I find out you cheat on your wife, I'm not gonna talk to you for a while, because that to me is like the epitome of a piece of shit man, right? That's how I talk to my boys. That's what I tell them, right? So, hi, Alishia. So just having those honest conversations. And I've thought a lot about all the different ways that I've parented, right? But then how you parent creeps up, and you get to see glimpses of, are you doing a good job or are you not doing a good job? So back again to my oldest, I have spent an ungodly amount of hours having deep conversations with him. He's a Pisces, so he's very like soul level, you know, most of the time. And we've had a lot of amazing conversations about life and, you know, what's on my mind or whatever. And sometimes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have talked to him about that or told him that, you know, and then here it comes again, you know, he'll throw it in my face. But I find that so far, even though I definitely am not perfect and I feel like I've done so much wrong, obviously what I'm doing is my best and it's working. He'll come back and he'll coach me on a bad day, right? And just give me the best advice, which is so cool because he's 14, right? But he's been doing it since he was about 10. You know, just stopping me in my tracks, saying the right thing at the right moment, taking something he's heard me say to somebody else, or taking something that I've said to him and throwing it in my face to give me that, reality check. And then it was just what I needed. Or, this last girlfriend that he had, watching how he pulled the chair out for her and opened the car door for her, and just the way that he treated her. I was like, okay, because he does have a dad that, is a good example in those ways as well. However, I'm like so bullish about it, right? So for me, that was the thing that I was always wrestling with. I'm like, God, you're so aggressive over this, Alishia. Like, what if you push him the other way? But there was literally no way that I could, do it any different. I could only do it the one way that I knew how. And so that's my whole point, right? So in mothering, in my own example, that's something that I've thought about a lot. Like, what if I'm not doing that part right? My youngest is more like shut down, closed, emotionally. He's never so fucking lovely. He's always like right here. If you're lucky, most times he hangs out here. And so he's completely different. He's Aquarius, Pisces cusp. So I really feel like he is just constantly battling with being a people person, not pleaser, but a people person and loving to help people, and then being highly emotional. So I think balancing those two things out is really, really hard for him. So he is a gentle soul without a doubt. And so, there's a whole other world, and I'm such a bull that the two match, like with my youngest, would shut him down, right? So I really have to work on pulling back on the bull so he can open up. So, I'm like, God, I'm going to ruin this kid. Those things, those processes, those ways that we think. So be careful that, again, you're not working on being perfect in how you show up. I mean, even now more than ever, right? Homeschooling kids, working from home. It's like, holy fuck, I have all of this that I have to do, and you're putting all this pressure on yourself. And if this doesn't work right, I cannot tell you how many posts I've seen about being sick of cooking. Why are you cooking 17,000 fucking meals a day? Like, if your finances are still what they were before all this shindiggery went down, keep eating out, Not only does it give you some sanity, but the economy needs it, right? So keep spending that money eating out, because that helps the economy recoup and move forward. Hi, Erin. Hi, babe. So with that, it really goes along the lines of what I say every day when I exit these lives, and giving yourself some grace. That's extremely important, right? So you have to give yourself some grace, but I mean even more than that. It's not really about giving grace, because if you're waiting to take action because you want it to be perfect, or you're worried about the action that you're taking because you want to be perfect, you're not even giving yourself any grace, because you're not even starting. And that actually, flows over into not wanting to fail, right? But before I go into the not wanting to fail, I want to talk about, as we can go into wife, right? Perfectionism as a wife, and then it's like, and how you show up. You want to make sure that you're taking care of everything and making sure the house is clean and everything's on your shoulders. We talked about this in one of another video that I did. It was either early last week or the week before, about, once you enter that workforce and you're balancing out the finances for your partner, even if they are the breadwinner, then all of the responsibilities have to be shifted as well. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, I still think the person who works should have to fucking help, but that's just my 2 cents, right? I never thought once, even in my own household, because I was the one making money and Daniel was the one, rearing the children, so to speak, that it was his job to do fucking everything, right? I'm not ever going to clean. I'm never going to get on the kid's ass. I'm never going to do this because that's not my job. Like, this whole, mentality with all that just blows my fucking mind. I could bitch about it for video after video after video. So I'm going to digress before I do. But, think about perfectionism as a wife and all these things that you expect yourself to do. And it's like, well, I can't do that, and I can't do that, and I can't do that, so I'm just not going to do it. Or I can't do that, and so I'm going to, I'm internalizing it because I didn't do this good enough, and he's going to be upset, or she's going to be upset, or blah, blah, blah. I don't think men have as much of that. I know my husband actually does, but most men don't have as much of, perfection in being a husband, right? They're just like, well, showed up, did my fucking best. I don't know what to tell you. That's more of like masculine energy, right? And men or women are more like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough, and I did my best, and I don't know what to do. It's just more of like wanting more and making more, making yourself do more and more and more and more and more. So with that being said, and just in all of these areas of your life, like for yourself as a wife, as a mother, I want you to look at and go into a business owner, right? If you own a business or if you work for somebody else, your job, and look at what kind of pressure you're putting on yourself, right? And how perfect, that you are doing, well, I should say trying to be when you show up instead of, you sound like the woman part of it sometimes. Is that what you're saying? Hi, Andrea. How imperfect how you're trying to show up and go, you know what? Instead of focusing on perfection, right? Let's just focus on doing our best. Let's just focus on giving what we have. Let's focus on leaving it all out on the field. That's what I call it. Like whatever it is, right? If you can show up and you can say you did your absolute best and you left it all out there, then that's all that anyone can ask for. And generally when you show up and you leave it all out on the field, it's not going to be perfect. That's the whole thing. It's like, they always use batting as like a great analogy, right? Like I don't even know anything like a lot about batting averages, so I'm not going to give you numbers, but literally a batter strikes out a fuck ton more. Like, I don't know what it is. Calvin's on here and he is a fucking baseball player. I think it's like 75%, you're striking out compared to how many times you hit the fucking ball, right? But that is good. Like, the batting average for a batter is so fucking low, but the low numbers are good because really you're always going to strike out more than you hit the ball. That is the law of averages in baseball, right? So what if every single time the baseball player got up there and all they thought was, well, there's a 75% chance I'm not going to hit this fucking ball, right? Then they would miss 100% of their balls if you think about it. Hi, Amanda, because if they go up to the plate thinking about that 75% chance that they are going to miss that ball or whatever that percentage is, they would never hit it. But every time a batter goes up, they're thinking about watching the ball come all the way to the bat and swinging at that right time and hitting that ball, right? They're always thinking about connecting that ball to that bat and cracking it out of here. And yet still 75% or whatever the fucking percentage is of the time they strike out or they miss the fucking ball. So you can have the best of intentions, right? You can say you played the hardest game. You can say you left it all out of the field. You can say that you did your best. You can say you gave it all you got, and it still won't be perfect. So instead of saying, I'm looking for that perfect before I show up, before I do, before I act, you need to be looking at it like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to leave it all out on the field. And so when I walk away, I can say that I did my best. That matters more than anything. And when you go forth with that attitude in what it is that you're doing, you will realize that for every action you don't take because you're afraid of failing, because you have the fear of whatever can happen, you have already failed. I say this all the time. If you fear failing and you do nothing anyways, then you've already failed. Write that down. If you fear failing and you do nothing anyways, then you've already failed. Or if you fear failing and you do nothing, you failed anyways. Now that's what I say. My brain's not working today, right? So consider that. You are a failure right off the bat when you don't take action because you're afraid of failing. So it's like, so it's a contradiction, right? Like, I'm scared, I'm afraid of failing, blah, blah, blah. Well, while you're scared of being afraid to fail, you're failing. So just get the fuck up and take the action and let what happens happen, right? As a mother, you're going to do fucked up things. You're not going to do the right things. You're not going to say the right fucking things. And it is going to be what it is because it's not about perfection, right? It's about leaving it all out there and doing your best. As a wife, it isn't up to you to do everything. Or as a partner, if you're a man watching this, it isn't up to you to do it all and be all the things. It's up to you to give it everything you can, right? To be open, to leave it all out on the field. And that has to be good enough because when you say, I did my best and my best is all I have to give, then that's all that you can give. Like, yes, sometimes your best isn't good enough for somebody else, but truly that's their burden to bear, right? If you can say that you did your best and you left it all out there and it still wasn't good enough for whoever, then that's their burden to bear. And, you know, maybe it's a different conversation if it's your partner. So Mary says, I taught my husband and son early on that we are a team. There aren't jobs that each of us can't do. I shoveled snow and mowed. My hubby works for the post office, and during winter I had to be there on overtime. My husband learned to clean and laundry. My son learned to cook and clean, and he currently is the main force in this household doing these things. That's awesome. I'm not going to fucking go shovel snow, and I don't take out trash. I have two 100% nots. Not shoveling snow, not taking out trash. I know, I'm an asshole. I mean, maybe one day I'll have to, because, right, my kids won't be here, so then I'll have to take out the trash and shovel snow. No, like, I will if I have to, but I do have, like, my absolute knots, and I really don't like scrubbing toilets, but I will. In my house, we definitely have chores and jobs. We definitely have things that people do so that, you know, each person is responsible for things and they can be held accountable for that. But you do what works well for your household, right? Like, what it is that you are responsible for, being held accountable, you know, accountable for. And really, mostly for me, it's my children that do everything. Like, all of that kind of stuff. I think Ronan should start cooking more. I mean, he's 14. Stratton should start learning how to cook. But that's a whole other story, right? Like, you just do your best and whatever works and whatever you connect with. But just remember, no matter what, though, if there's nothing else you take from this live, it's that if you fear failing and you do nothing, you failed anyways, okay? And I'll probably put that on a quote in my personal profile anyways, because I think that's awesome. So with that, with that being said, I'm just going to check and see. I don't do dishes, says Alicia. See? There's things that we don't do. So with that being said, I just want you to take everything that I said today to heart, because now, like I said, more than ever, you can't be holding yourself to these crazy, high, unrealistic expectations. And now is the time to learn to shift those like crazy standards that you set for yourself and make them like more realistic, and to take action even if it's not perfect, right? To take action even if you don't have it all figured out. Literally, I would not be here with you 4 days a week doing these lives if I was worried about being perfect. You know, in your mind, you think, God, she shows up, she fucking delivers. It's so awesome. It's so powerful. I love it. I think it's so awesome, right? Like, yeah, Amy, exactly. My kids are mini slaves. You know, you're like, you know, you look at me and you're like, God, she's always got it. Like, she knows. And half the time I show up and I don't know what the fuck I'm going to talk about. You know, half the days I've showed up and I've been in an irritated mood. The other quarter of the days I'm fucking tired, right? Because I'm alive right after I wake up and my brain doesn't even have time to connect. You know, it's not about being perfect. I did a live training for my direct sales portion. I was did a 5-day challenge, and day 3 I fucking lost my shit. I was so pissed. I was so pissed about, you know, everybody in the coaching world acting like there's nothing going on and just run around and pretend like it's all rainbows and fucking butterflies. And I spent a chunk of a training that I was supposed to be teaching about booking parties bitching about the fact that I'm sick of everybody pretending like nothing is going on. Let's have a frank conversation and move forward, right? Let's not just sit in the shit, but for fuck's sakes, let's not run around acting like nothing is going on and nobody's impacted. I did this whole fucking rant, and then I went on and I did my training, and then I needed to, and I got off there and I went, what the fuck were you thinking? Your mom told you to get on there and be positive and lift people up like I do and to give them what they need, and you got on there and just fucking went off, right? You shouldn't have done that, because people do need you to show up, and they need you to lift them up, and they need you to give them da-da-da-da-da-da. And then that, you know, my ego, you know, that ego bitch that I always talk about was talking, and I was just like, shut up. I needed to do that. I needed to be the voice of fucking like shit sucks in the sea of fucking rainbows and butterflies in the online business world. And I did need to, obviously, because I knew that if in my world, the coaching world, the internet marketing world where I hang out, if everybody was fucking pretending to be something that's not, oh, like, build your business online and you wouldn't have to worry about this. Like, the angle everybody was coming from was fucking pissing me off. Like, oh, if you had to build your business online, you wouldn't be out of money. Really? Who the fuck pays your bills? Like, these fucking people who actually have jobs. Now, shut up. Like, that's like how I was thinking, right? And I'm pissed. And I thought, well, if in my world I'm being inundated with this fake bullshit, I wonder, I'm thinking my clients have to be. Their companies have to be saying that. Their uplines, their sidelines, their downlines have to be saying that. They're being spewed this fucking rainbow and glitter and butterflies from all angles. And they're in the middle being torn between what they see that's real and being torn to just pretend like it's fucking fake. So I went off. And then I came back. I don't remember when it was. I think it was early this week. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then I said that. I said that I had, had some regrets on that. And I was second guessing myself and da-da-da-da. And there was like a crazy outpouring of love. Like, you guys, some of you here, everybody. And I was like, oh, we needed that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being so honest, right? And that's me showing up not perfect, right? Because that was something that I wasn't intending on doing. I didn't want to necessarily show up and pretend, but I didn't want who everybody comes to for power, right? For energy, for just that confidence that they could carry on, hear me go, we're all gonna die! You know what I mean? It wasn't like that, but it was pretty close, right? Like, I did not want me to be the source of that. But in the same breath, I didn't want to be the fucking fake ass shit that they're just constantly hearing over and over. So it was the battle of, do I give them what they quote unquote need from me? Or do I say, listen, I feel the same way. Fucking earthquakes and breakdowns and bullshit. I feel the same way. This shit's going crazy. Da-da-da-da-da. I feel the same way. I don't really want to move forward with anything and I find myself being negative. I feel the same way. And then take them through that. And that's what I chose to do. So to me, that wasn't showing up perfect. And to me, after it had happened, I made a huge mistake in my mind. But truth be told, that imperfect was perfectness. Right? So I guess my point in sharing that part with you is there's also imperfect perfectness. Maybe it wasn't the best way to bring it up. Maybe it was the best way to lay it all out, but it doesn't matter. That's what I had to give. Right? So if I was worried about perfection and showing up, I would never be here. Half the time I look like I rolled out of my bed. My fucking bra shirt is all fucked up. It's usually clear down, so there's crazy cleavage. Whatever. There is nothing perfect about these morning shows. Morning for me, I don't know. Whatever, but there's nothing perfect about it, but you guys love the fuck out of it, right? So just consider that. You show up every day while I'm not perfect, and you love me. So why wouldn't, if you showed up every day in your life not being perfect, would people not love you, right? So the difference between is that I'm not looking to be perfect, and I'm leaving it all out on the field, and that's why I wanted to tell you, just leave it all out there. And then it's their burden to bear if they don't like it, right? Because you did everything that you could. So Latia says, I noticed that I wasn't really delegating well, mostly because I get funny about the way things are done. Me too. That's why everybody does it my way. I started having them help me so that they can see how I want things done without me doing it. Now that I've got some things organized, my kids are doing well with what I have for them. It may not be perfect, but they are doing it and I can work on the other stuff. Boom. That's it. That's the whole point. And I know that's been pretty hard for you, right? You've been working on it. Like fucking Latia. Quit working on it to work on it. Just let it go, right? We've had this conversation a lot. Hi, Tori. Hi, Marion. And I'm so happy to hear that you realize, I gotta let go of the fucking broom if they're gonna, learn how to do it. And don't get me wrong. Half the time around my house, I'm bitching. It's I left this red, jelly Kool-Aid fucking spot on the counter for God knows how long. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was a concoction of something. And I was waiting to see how long it got wiped up. And then I was gonna bitch out my kid as soon as he wiped it up. Perfect? Probably not. The best way to be a mom? Probably not. Sick of fucking bitching? 100%. So I left it there. When it was cleaned up, I made a huge deal about it. But not in a positive, thank you so much way. I was like, oh, somebody finally wiped down the counters and cleaned up the fucking jelly spot that's been there a week. Don't think I don't notice. You're not fucking wiping the counters. Wipe them every goddamn day or you're not going to get to play video games. Right? Yeah. Perfect? Probably not. The way I parent? Yes. That is true. Amy says, sometimes people need to hear calm and crazy equally. And it's so true because you need to have that balance so you don't think you're the one that's crazy. A Power Coach Alishia who's real and honest is always running around here being it's all good, just stay the course and stay focused. then and I see like the sky is falling, like people start to worry. Am I going crazy or are they going crazy? All right, I'm gonna get off here. Oh my gosh, that is so freaking funny. I have so many pet peeves. If you guys saw the way that I parent, you would literally grab a drink and just fucking laugh. I'm not laughing. It's not funny when it's happening, by the way. Well, it's not fucking funny to me. It's probably funny to everybody else. Like, my friend was here the other day, and I was like, hey, it's time to turn in the phone. And he goes, what does turn in the phone mean? And I was like, turn in the fucking phone. Like, turn it in? Like, he can't keep it? Like, you make your kids turn in their phone? Fuck yes, I do. Have you had a teenager? Fuck yes, I do. 7 p.m. every night, the kids have to turn in their phone. He's like, wow, you're mean. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. Oh my God. Your husband would use the vacuum to clean off the bathroom counter? Oh my God. I just can't. Okay, so more... That's true, Amanda, too. More than anything, my 3 statements that I always say to you are so important today, especially giving yourself some grace. Take the action and give yourself some grace, right? That's all that matters, right there. Make sure you forward action, forward action, forward action, forward action. I have a book for you. If you struggle being in forward action and taking that action because of whatever reason, actually I have 2 books for you. The very first book I recommend that you read or listen to on Audible is The Year of Yes from Shonda Rhimes. Shonda Rhimes is the author of, not the author, excuse me. She is the writer for Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, and she also wrote Private Practice. So if you've seen any of those TV shows, she's the writer for those TV shows. And The Year of Yes was such a powerful book for me, even though I'm not really a big no person. So I loved it, right? So that's the first book I recommend. And then The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins is also a really great book. If you find yourself being stuck and not taking the action, read those 2 books. Remember to say yes to yourself more than you say yes to other people. And it's all about progress, not perfection in every single thing you do. I'll see you guys on Monday.